What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with the discussion video, and today we're going to be talking about the XZ's era. Was it a
Mm,
success? We're going into pendulums here, and did we accomplish everything that we set out to? Or maybe did
mm.
Konami accomplish everything they set out to in this era?
uh,
I brought in Herf mainly because he's got free time. You know what I mean?
true. I do have some free time.
He does. So, Herf, XZ's era, what's up? Was it a success, do you think?
I would say so. I mean, because XCs outside of like the really broken XCs decks were never really meant to be like I don't know, like an archetype. You know what I mean? So if you look at XCs throughout like their history, they're pretty much always just like a really good generic summoning mechanic for any deck to be able to use to solve problems. So like Evil Eye with Titan Showdown, right? It was just like a rank 3 that they could use to solve problems or stuff like that, even though that's not like their main goal of the deck and they're not using Evil Eye cards, whatever.
Hmm. So is
I mean,
you're able to basically give any deck a new boss monster.
yeah, basically, like it's problem solving, right? Like you look
Hmm.
at Thunder Dragons, like they have a starter, they have a way to start the game, and it's just they're able to solve and play through more boards than if they were able to play with like strictly synchros, because synchros you have to have a tuner and a non-tuner, but exceeds you just have to have two monsters that are the same
Hmm.
level. So that is going to be a lot better because it's any two monsters versus a strict tuner and a non-tuner.
I was
You know
gonna
what I mean?
ask you, so you feel like that was a better solution or a better option, I guess, than synchroing for a deck?
Well, yeah. So if a deck that if I'm just playing like any deck and my archetype doesn't specifically summon synchros, right? Like if that's not what my deck does, like the bread and butter of it, it's like six Sams most of the time that they're gonna want to synchro over using their Xyz, right? But if I'm just a random deck like say Thunder Dragons or Triamids or Evil Eye, I'm never gonna play a synchro. Why would I ever play a synchro? Because
Right.
then I'd have to add tuners. But why not just play these Xyz in the extra deck so I just have more options to play through problematic boards? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay. So from that perspective, you think XZ's era was a huge
A
success?
large
Good.
success.
Large.
Yeah, I mean, look
Okay.
at every. Yeah, I mean, we got
Like
stuff like
magnets, right?
Malevolent
Magnets,
Sin.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Magnets.
I mean, Magnets, Evil Eye, Triamids, Weather Painters. All of these deck like that kind of rogue decks. They don't really have any more stuff that we could really give them that would be healthy for the game. So they use all of these like non like specific cards in order to buff them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. So from that angle, we did a pretty good job. Now, what about
Mm-hmm.
XZ's archetypes? Stuff that's these are meant to XZ's. Did they turn out
Yeah.
pretty good, or did they devolve
Um.
the game? Because I almost want to say we talked about this in the skill video that we did, right?
Mm,
We were talking about like anime skills make the decks possible. They prop up the
mm.
decks or whatever. That happened during the XZ's era, because some of these XZ's archetypes aren't that great,
Yeah.
or
Well, I think the biggest problem is that with the Xyz archetypes that we have yet to get into the game, or the support that we have yet to get into the game, if we got those cards, they would be way too good,
okay,
right? So we need, in order to make Xyz meta, they had like these like automats that they kind of drip to us, just to make sure that they were going to be healthy, and they wanted it to be an anime deck. But if we got like zoos, if we got stuff like the Falcon Stellars, if we got all of these other cards that were like tier 0 in the TCG, obviously, I mean, it would break Duel Links in my opinion because a lot of Zodiacs, I mean, you can just like one material Xyz climb into stuff that breaks boards, and we don't really want that in Duel Links.
just off the top of my head, I thought, is there an XZ's archetype deck that didn't really rely on a skill to make it good? I just thought of Noble Knights just now. Like,
I
if you're not
mean,
playing it without, if you don't have balance, Noble Knights are only okay at best. What else is there? Onomatopoeia play really helps out, Onomats a lot. What else?
Teller Knights, I feel like were a pretty good anti-meta option there for a little bit,
But they
but
never
they were
really
never
went
like
into
meta
anything,
defining. Yeah, I mean,
right?
they weren't like meta defining, but they were like a decent anti-meta
Hmm.
option.
Okay, so
Uh,
I mean, there's probably like a lot of little ones be like digital bugs, stuff like that. But I mean,
yeah.
realistically, like top decks,
Yeah, I
was
mean Thunder Dragons. I mean,
are
I would
they
call
are
them
they,
an Xyz deck now. I mean, they're not
okay,
an archetype, but they're an Xyz deck.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. Were there? I'm just
So
trying to think. Were there any others? Because I mean, obviously, Noble Knights came up before, but then they really like, here you go, XZ's Noble
yeah,
Knights.
I
You know,
mean
and it,
Merlin was just busted, just
right,
in
and it,
general.
it 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 was very reliant on a skill. I was just trying to, and then obviously, Territory of the Sharks really carried the
Hmm.
water deck, and that was obviously meant to be an
Yeah.
XZ's deck. So, was there one that did not?
I mean, I guess like the only example would be like Tellers and Thunder Dragons. I mean, if you're talking about like like an Xyz archetype, Tellers.
Tellers,
But
but
if you're just thinking about any deck that relies on Xyz summoning, we could talk about stuff like Magnets, Thunder Dragons,
right,
stuff like
right. I'm just
that.
thinking of stuff that came
Yeah.
out during this era.
Hmm.
Like were they able to function really without using the skill? Is it because they're just naturally underpowered compared to what came before, or were they just kind of? We always said they were kind of resetting the meta, right? Because we knocked out Element Sabers, we knocked out
Hmm.
Shiranui, and then we knocked out what Desperado and like all these other
Yeah.
decks. I
Well,
mean,
we knocked out Shiranui.
yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Awkward.
And then
Yeah, I'm not.
so these decks are just kind of weak to begin with, and the skills were
Mhm.
kind of like making it possible for them to function. Is that the way it should be, or
I mean, I think Konami was just extremely gun shy after Element Sabers and
Mhm.
Desperado and stuff like that, and Invoke Neos, and they were like, we don't want stuff to be in the game for a year and a half, almost 2 years.
right?
You know what I mean? So I can understand like why they're giving us so underpowered decks, but like I don't know. I mean, I'd rather just have them like give us the broken stuff as long as there's a lot of broken stuff, because then it's not broken. You know what I mean?
So I guess from this angle, okay. So for the first angle was, uh, you know, uh, being able to give any deck a boss monster basically or tools. Any deck in XZ summon. We said that was good. That was a large
Hmm.
success. What about from this angle where the game has kind of changed under the XZ's era? Is it because of the XZs themselves, or is it just because Konami decided to change the game? And is it a good thing?
I just think Konami has done a poor job in keeping their finger on the pulse of the meta in the competitive scene. I think if you play the game casually, the game is probably better than it's ever been. Like in terms of
Okay.
like the ladder. So
Mm-hmm.
like I think the ladder meta is honestly super nice right now. I think the
Okay.
competitive meta absolutely sucks. It
Okay.
sucks.
So from the casual point of view, would you say this was also a big success then?
Yeah. From the casual player's perspective, and like I only play on the ladder, I strictly play this game for fun. This has probably been one of the better years of dueling.
Okay.
Because mostly all of the decks are pretty interactive.
Okay. But from
Honestly.
competitive, no.
No, this it sucks.
Okay.
I mean, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've been in a tier zero format. They tried to put an emergency ban list, and then it doesn't work.
Right.
We're still in a tier zero format. How is that fun? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. No, I got you.
uh,
All right. So overall, you would say XZ's era was a success.
there were winners and losers, but mostly winners.
Okay. Any predictions for pendulums, and will it
Uh,
be as successful?
I think it will be super successful if they change the way like the board is set up to have the pendulums outside of the spell and trap card zones. I think it'll kind of flop if they make them put it in the spell and trap card zones.
Right. Okay. So, any predictions on the meta? Do you think XZ's will come into its own or become even stronger?
I mean, pendulum or XCs can only get stronger.
Right.
That's the thing. Like once they,
Like right now we have a lot of synchro decks. Kamel was upset. This is the resurgence of the synchro era. Are we gonna see during pendulums way more XZs coming in then? Or
I mean, it's a lot easier. It's actually a lot easier to XCs when you have pendulum summoning as a mechanic, because
okay.
you can special summon so many different stuff, so much stuff out of your hand. Because it's a pendulum summon, you just get to special all of these things, and then you can. We have skills that change levels in the game. So pendulum summon, change the levels. Let's go.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Nice. Nice.
So I don't know. I think that there's going to be, uh, it's going to be an interesting year of pendulums, and we'll see how they do in releasing it.
All right. That sounds good. So, XZs, thumbs up. All right, I like
I
it.
give thumbs up. Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. Do you think XZs was a good era? Did they accomplish everything that they wanted to, or that you wanted them to? Obviously, there's probably some decks that you want released that maybe they didn't, and maybe they should have. But overall, I think XZs did pretty well myself. I'm happy with the game, but let us know what you think in the comments below. I'm just going to keep talking because Herf's doing that, and if I don't stop talking, he can't stop doing that. But make sure to get in the Discord because it's free, the tournaments are free, and the new player help is free. I'm Circus. That's Herf.
What's up?
And we'll see you next time.